Welcome back to the Wizard Shop, and today's video is sponsored by Keeps. Today we're going to be tackling the sewer system on this boat, actually removing it. It's going to be foul, smelly, and nasty. You guys don't want to miss it. Let's get started.
Wizard, what are you doing?
I'm just getting cleaned up before we get started filming here. I don't want to have a fuzzy scalp.
I commend you on looking your best for on camera, but we have a video to film.
Yeah, I know. I'm almost done here. One thing to keep in mind, guys, is I have a lot of friends who are experiencing some thinning up top in their hair, and they have voiced their concerns to me that this is not something they're ready to do. It's just really not an option for them at all. But there is another option, and that's Keeps. Did you know 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. Get treated from home. You used to have to go to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription. Now, thanks to Keeps, you can visit a doctor online and get hair loss medication delivered right to your home. They make it easy and deliver your medication every 3 months so you can say goodbye to the pharmacy checkout lines and awkward doctor visits. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. You may have tried them before, but probably never for this price. If you're ready to take action to prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/carwizard or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/carwizard. Now let's get back to boats. All right, so now we're back to the yacht, and we promised you guys we're going to start pulling out the sewer system, which is going to be nasty. But before we get started on that, let's go see what Mrs. Wizard has going on with the flooring. She promised some flooring updates. Let's go see what she's got going on.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Got some good updates on the flooring. Good news. Let's go down and take a peek. So probably the biggest help that I've found so far is these great gloves. This is an advantage to being in the shop, is that I can, I can go raid the Wizard's goodies. So what I found when I pulled up is, and we pulled up some, it actually didn't take a whole lot of time. We left a few pieces still on the floor. It didn't take much. I actually was able to bribe my daughter to help. It was great. She has been home a lot for remote schooling, so even getting out of the house to go to the shop to rip up boat flooring was enough to entice her. And it only took us about 3 hours, which wasn't bad considering one of those hours was taking her to lunch. So we did about an hour's work, went to lunch, came back, finished it up, and we only left a little bit of it here. I'll show you what it's like. So as you see, it actually peels up once you get it under the lip a little bit. There we go. And you can see it is still sticky. It's really, that part is pretty bad. But what we did is that we took manageable chunks. We didn't do the whole floor at once. We just did a little bit, and worked our way across the floor. And by doing it this way, it really wasn't too, sticky. But even yet, as you can tell, I've got my hair back today. I definitely don't want it to fall and land in this gooey stuff. There we go. And our last one, I hope. You can definitely tell the people liked their subfloor adhesive. There we go. Then, it wasn't too bad. Then it's just kind of a waiting game. Nice dose of Goo Gone, which, hey, I got this suggestion from you guys out in the comments from a previous video. Just use Goo Gone, let it set for a while. And that's what we do. We just kind of let it set, let it do its thing for a while, and it really does scrape up. And you know what? I'm really kind of happy we're doing it this time of year. Earlier, you guys saw, at least in the cabinet video we did, I had a really big bandage on my knee. Well, earlier this year, I had a bike accident. I actually dislocated my elbow. And by now it's healed, but the first week of June, I dislocated. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't have done any of this work. So I'm kind of glad it's now, so I can actually get through and, work some elbow grease into, working this stuff up. And it's already, even in this short amount of time, it's already starting to work. And you see, it just scrapes up. So as you guys can see, this is really gross. Other than that, the hands stay clean under here. The handles get a little dirty. I guess I'll probably clean this off for the car wizard so his snap-on, handy scraper isn't quite so disgusting. But in reality, it actually does a really good job. I'm not finished here. There's a few spots I still need to work, but I'll get these cleaned up. But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the floor. So as you can see, we'll toss these guys overboard because they're not really usable anymore. Plus they are really gooey and sticky and nasty. But if you look down, this looks a lot better. We've got other stuff in the way, of course, and you can see footprints, and that's going to be the hardest part right now, is keeping the floor clean. Yeah, but I have another idea for the floor. Really considering putting a rubberized paint down. Trying to get these to match all the bilge holes and all the crazy angles. Just going to be too crazy. Carpet, not a good option. So I'm really leaning towards just doing a nice rubberized paint that'll give grip on the floor. I can then put some rugs down, cover up some of the, cover up the big open spaces, can take them home if I need to get them washed. I think that'll be a much better use. Plus, I'll even be able to go into the mid cabin. I've actually done a little bit of cleaning down there and it looks a lot better, but I do think a paint in here on the floor would look a lot nicer. A little bit darker gray. The boat will not be back in this shop, so we're not going to be dragging, dust from the shop, which has bits of oil and grime from the cars. That's not going to be coming in here like it is now. So once we get this cleaned up, it should stay clean. At the lake, it should be fine. Now, I've got the floor all ripped out and taken care of. I think we're ready to see what's in the bilge.
All right, guys, what's going on? I've got most of these hoses and lines cut in here. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time unbolting and unscrewing everything because it's all going in the trash anyways. I'm about ready to pull the, I guess you call it the reservoir, the holding tank for the black water out. And it's pretty nasty stuff in here, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm glad to be getting this stuff out because it smells really bad and the system's so old. I'm not going to trust it where we could be out on the lake and it breaks or cracks and fills the whole bilge with black water. So the first order of business is to get this nasty reservoir out of here. So this looks like a 15 or 20 gallon holding tank, and I've got it all disconnected, and the lines, you can see I've just been cutting them. I'm going to be removing all that stuff out of here. But let's go ahead and get this tank out. I wish you guys could smell through the camera. It's pretty bad, guys. There we go. All right, I'm gonna throw this thing overboard. It smells really bad. If you heard, you can hear sloshing around in there. I really don't want to know what's in there. We're just going to get rid of this thing.
Oh, let's hurry. Oh, the smell's getting over here.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. We've been smelling a little bit of a smell in the boat for a while. Now we know why.
Come on, let's get it out of here.
So I'm not actually going to throw this thing. I don't want whatever's in there all over the shop. But I will open this door and set it outside, and then we can dispose of it. It's really nasty. Yeah, I'm just going to set this thing out here. Yeah, I'm not touching that for a while. I'm going to let it drain.
Oh.
Disgusting. Ugh.
Good thing we've got a good strong Kansas wind to blow that smell away. Oh, that was
I'm glad to have,
bad.
that's where all the contents were. The rest is just pipes. They're pretty clean, but that's disgusting. One thing I had to do to get to that reservoir tank is remove the first house battery. You can see it on the ground right over there. It's a large CarQuest battery. It is a 4D30. Huge. And there's not just one of them. There's another one in this box right here. So that should be a lot of power for us when we're operating off when we're not on shore power. You can see that there was a macerator pump. I've got the lines cut from it. Let's go ahead and get that out of here. So I've got the macerator pump out. This one I will throw overboard because it's empty. Go ahead and get this out of here. Oh! Ah, I thought that thing was empty. Ooh, good thing we're not next to a Lamborghini or something. We're just next to that old salvage piece of junk car. Wow.
Poor 300D.
Yeah, I don't think it got anything on it. It's just right there. Ugh, gross. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this black hose out, and it goes over to an area we're going to show here in a minute. Get that thrown overboard. Hopefully there's nothing in this one. I don't think there is. Nope. So this pipe here has been cut. That's what the black hose went to, and it was where it would grind up the black water and send it out into the lake, which is totally illegal, and we're not going to do that. What I will do is put a brand new through-hole fitting and replace this ball valve with a new one, and we'll use that for intake water for the air conditioner we're going to install. That way I don't have to drill any more holes in the hull. I just use the pre-existing hole and put a new fitting. So that will be going away and getting a new fitting. I'll also be removing this switch. That used to operate the macerator pump. Now right below me, I've actually already cut everything up for that. Is the old hot water heater. And it's all rusted and nasty. And it's been sitting with whatever leached out of the sewer system. We are not going to be using this at all. I've already cut the lines. Let's go ahead and get this thing out of here. I don't know what I can do. Like this.
Oh, Car Wizard. It sounds like there's something in it.
It sounds like there's water in it?
It sounds like something's in there.
Ugh, gross. Let's get this thing out of here. Overboard it goes! Ooh,
Oh,
that thing was rusted out bad.
that was nasty.
Disgusting. Well, good thing this isn't an iron boat or some kind of metal boat that would have rusted pretty bad. There's a lot of iron down in here. But I did find, which is kind of interesting, these two hoses right here. I've got them hooked together, but that's actually antifreeze hoses, kind of like heater hoses that go to the engines. You want to actually use heat from the engine to heat the water. Now, we're going to get a very small hot water heater, just enough to wash your hands. Like I said, we're not going to be on here for weeks on end. What I will do is get a small heater box with a heater core and utilize those heater connections so when the engines are running, we can heat the boat. It's free heat. So I definitely will use those. I'm not going to cut them out and throw them away. The water lines that are down here, I'm going to plug them off. And then when we do go to clean the system, we're going to send very strong bleach water and flush all these lines and get them all cleaned out. But definitely glad we're not going with that nasty old water heater. That was disgusting.
So, Car Wizard, now with all this stuff gone, it looks like there's some big open spaces.
Yeah, there's some big open spaces in here.
Oh, so I have storage now.
Well, this will probably where we put our air conditioning unit, right in through here.
Man, okay.
But there won't be a sewage tank, holding tank up there anymore.
That'll be a nice space, because this place does not have very much storage in it at all.
Right. So there might be some storage we can do down there.
Good.
But now we got one last thing to tackle, and that's the actual toilet itself. Let's head on into the head. Alright, I got all the bolts out of this thing. Just used some pliers, it was good enough. And cut the lines. We're going to be pulling all those lines through and getting rid of them. We are going to be putting a cassette style toilet, or porta potty if you call it, right here in this place. I'm going to go throw this overboard as well. Oh, gross.
Oh!
Gross!
Yeah.
Let's hurry up and get it out of here. Hurry! Hurry, hurry, hurry!
Oh.
Oh my, I didn't know it was porcelain. I thought it was plastic.
Well,
Well, I got a mess to clean up now, Mrs. Wizard.
yes, you do.
That is disgusting.
That's bad.
Ugh. So we're back in the head. We've got the toilet out. The only thing that remains on this boat to remove is the black water lines. I'll pull those through. That'll take a little bit of an effort. We'll get those out of here and clean this place up. We literally have just really decontaminated this boat. We've cleaned it up nicely today. That's really bad. So before we wrap this up, let's take one last look at the nasty disaster here. I'm glad it's in a small little area in the very back of the shop. It's away from all the cars. I will clean this up here very quickly and get it outside, and that will all go in the garbage. Very, very disgusting. I'm actually kind of sad to think all this nastiness was in this boat. Very, very gross. I'm also very glad that we decided not to try and reuse this stuff because, yes, you can see right here, it's just not going to be possible. You can see that the hull of this boat had quite a bit of water in it with the lines here. There was one level here, and there was another time when it was up to here, and it stayed there for quite a while. That's why it stained and it made a line in it. The contents that were in that nasty holding tank are still in there, so that tells me it didn't leak out into the boat. I'm so happy about that. That's really gross. I've got a lot of cleaning to do. I've got to get this stuff out of here, so that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I'm glad you guys could follow along when we remove all the poo pipes and all the different pieces and parts that are just either unusable or just disgusting. They don't need to be in the boat anymore. This right here is the very reason we're not going to go back with a system like this. We're not going to be on the boat, like I said, for weeks on end. I don't want this sitting in the boat when we're gone for weeks and months. I know you can clean them, but you can never really get them 100% clean. So we're going to go with a small porta potty that we can remove when we're not on the boat. So thanks for following along. A lot of you guys have commented on some of the cars in the background. You've noticed the Woodsy wagon. You've noticed this 82 XJS. That will be a video that's coming up also. It came in here non-running, and that engine, the V12 that's in there, has defeated many mechanics, but it's not going to defeat the Wizard. We're very close. You don't want to miss that video. So thanks for following along again on the poo pipe removal on the boat. If you're curious what kind of tools I use, especially the tools I use to cut those lines, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, go ahead and do that now. We got so many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching. Ah, this is nasty. Ugh.